Akwaba, my people, welcome again to my channel. It's your boy Gustavo. As usual, this is the La Liga and Premier League preview. As usual, as I say, sit, relax, and enjoy. These are the results of the match week 2 of the Premier League. It started with Chelsea, who went away and beat West Ham by 5-1. Manchester City played at home and lost to Tottenham by 2-0. Bournemouth won at home to Wolverhampton Wanderers. Brentford also won at home to Aston Villa. Burnley beat Sunderland by 2-0. Arsenal won at home to Leeds United. And then on Sunday, Crystal Palace were held to a 1-1 draw by Nottingham Forest at home. Everton beat Brighton by 2-0. Fulham also played at home to Manchester United, which ended in a 1-1 draw. Liverpool will be playing on Monday, that's today, against Newcastle. So we'll be waiting for that result as well. Now, let's start with Chelsea, who played away to West Ham. Yes, I think during the preview, I said this game is going to be a very difficult one for West Ham because from the way they've played from the back end of last season, very bad form coming into this season, starting very poorly as well against a newly promoted side in the form of Sunderland, and now playing against a club like Chelsea. I think we all expected this to happen. I think there were one or two things that really happened in this game. And I think first of all, before the start of this game, the Chelsea's key player or key performer, Opama, got injured during the warm-up and then was replaced by the lap in the team. Yes, so I think in that team, Joao Pedro dropped to the number 10 position. The lap went up front. Neto on the left, Estival on the right. Yes, so as I said before this game, the only problem that I saw in that team, that's the West Ham team, one of the main problems that I saw was their midfield. And then I made mention of it in the preview. Yes, I said this Chelsea midfield was going to be too strong for the likes of Ward-Prowse and then Souček. And then that was the same midfield that was deployed in that game alongside Paqueta. There's no way Souček and Ward-Prowse. We all know both of these players are not the best of tacklers. We know these players are not the best of runners. They don't have the legs as compared to the likes of Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo, and then Joao Pedro. Yes, so on the part of Chelsea, the only mistake that I saw on their part in this game was the goal Paqueta scored against Chelsea. Aside that, Chelsea were brilliant on they controlled the game from the back. Their build-up was superb. Tosin coming in for Achampong did a very great job. The build-up from the back was excellent. In midfield, very solid as usual. But then the only problem I had was the goal Paqueta scored against Chelsea. He was given too much space to come forward and shoot. Yes, people may blame Sanchez for this goal. But then from my point of view, I think the first course of action was to be stopped. Yes, Paqueta had a whole time to come forward, drive, and then shoot. So I think on that occasion, the likes of Caicedo and the centre-backs should be blamed for this. But personally, I think Caicedo should be blamed for this because he was very close to him, but then allowed him to come forward and then shoot. Yes, so I think on the part of Chelsea, that was the only mistake that I saw that happened in this Chelsea setup. Aside that, Chelsea really played well throughout the 90. Yes, so with West Ham, as I've been saying, they are very good on set pieces when it comes to set pieces. But then in this game, they were so poor. Their set pieces, everything, not just the set pieces, everything about them in this game was very bad. Most of these goals that Chelsea scored, especially on the side of Wan-Bissaka, his defending at the far post was very, very poor. This has been happening since his time at Manchester United till he moved to West Ham, and it's still persisting. As, an example was Neto's goal, which he scored. Wan-Bissaka was off. He should have done better in that situation, I think. Yeah, so in this Chelsea game, I think Chelsea were tactically better and the far superior side in this game. And I don't think there was a way West Ham were going to get back in this game. Because from Chelsea's defense to the midfield to the attack was so solid. And I think Maresca and his boys have done a really great job bouncing back from that draw they had against Crystal Palace at home. Manchester City lost at home to Tottenham by 2-0. Not surprising at all, because we made mention here that this game was going to be a very tricky one. Last season, Manchester City lost at home to this same Tottenham side, but then with a different manager by 4-0. There was a little bit of change in personnel, as I said, but then this game, Manchester City were outdone by Tottenham's, first of all, their press. Yes. Secondly, their strength and speed up front. These are the two components or two things that I think Manchester City fell short in this game. First of all, let's take Manchester City's Tottenham's first goal against Manchester City, which came from the flanks with a lot of speed, attacking of the box, and then finally finishing. We mentioned over here that Thomas Frank will never play to Manchester City's satisfaction. He's not going to open up a whole lot for this Manchester City to orchestrate what they wanted to do. They were stuck in midfield a whole lot. They defended solidly and then hit Manchester City on the attack. Yes. So the likes of Kudus and Richarlison were always proactive, ready to hit, ready to attack. And in midfield, the likes of Palhinha and Bentancur made sure that Cherki and Tijani Reinders were off on the day. Hence, supplies to the likes of Erling Haaland were cut short. Supplies to the likes of Mamouche were cut off. So this shows you Thomas Frank's mindset in this game. He knew Manchester City were going to control the game if they had hold of the midfield. So Cherki and Reinders were off. They were cut off. They were shut down in this game. They were shut down completely. So you could barely see Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland is a player who usually doesn't show up in games. He just scores the goals. But then in this game, the supplies were cut to the extent that you won't even see him in the game. So kudos to Thomas Frank and his boys. Van de Ven, Kuti Romero, solid at the back. Spence, excellent. Pedro, as usual, we know what he can do. We know what he's capable of. Let's go to Tottenham's second goal. As I was saying, the press. They didn't allow Manchester City to play out from the back. Trafford had a very horrendous game that very day. When it comes to set pieces, he wasn't up to it. When it comes to playing out from the back, he wasn't so comfortable. That was when he made that pass that led to Tottenham's second goal. The press was so extreme. Not just the press to that goal. The whole 90, the press from the energy from this Tottenham side was so exceptional. They didn't even allow Manchester City to progress very well from their 18-yard box to the final third of the opponent. Yes, so that shows you how Thomas Frank wants to play, how he has set up this team. And I'm so impressed with how they played and then the results. So this shows Pep Guardiola there's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of work to be done, especially with the new players coming in. And I don't understand why he keeps certain players on the bench just because he has gotten new ones. Probably he wants to offload them, but then players like Foden shouldn't be on the bench for Manchester City, to be honest. We know the quality of Foden. We know what he can do. Kevin De Bruyne is out now. The likes of Foden, Gundogan know the team better. They know the team proper as compared to Reinders and the likes of Cherki. So I think Pep should do his corrections and then get to eradicate all these problems as soon as possible. These set pieces upon set pieces. Kudos to that Arsenal set piece coach. I think that guy is doing a very, very good job. Bro, for about, I think the last 2 years, coming in. There's no club in the world who has scored from a lot of set pieces like Arsenal. They score from set pieces and they do it very well. Yes, but then in this game against Leeds United, I think Arsenal started this game very poorly. They couldn't have a hold of the game to themselves. They couldn't control the game from the beginning till they scored the first goal. The likes of Zubimendi, I think they should Arsenal fans should be a little patient with them, because I think people are expecting him to do the kind of job that the likes of Partey have been doing for Arsenal in the past years. But then I think he's new to the Premier League. He's now coming in, new setup, new faces, new environment, so he has to adapt. Because you could clearly see from the start of the game that he was off. But then after the first goal, everyone now came into the game. He wasn't the only one off. Most of the Arsenal players were off in this game, even the likes of Saka. But then after that first goal from Timber, which came from a set piece, I think that was when all the Arsenal players got into the game. Leeds United, on the other hand, started very well as well. They defended very well. As I said here in the preview, that they are always going to stay proactive to hit Arsenal on the counter attack. That was what they did. But then chances were very hard to come by. They really found it hard to create chances. And I understand that, because this Arsenal defense is no easy defense to break. You are going to find it very hard against them to even create chances. Yes, so I think in this game, Arsenal really got into the game after the first goal, then started dominating the game, possessing, doing what they wanted to do in this game. Yes, so I think the likes of Timber, I think he was a star performer in this game, got the 2 goals for Arsenal. I think Dorman, yes, the 15-year-old wonder kid, also came into this game, drives at defenders, and then finally got the penalty for Arsenal's goal in the 90 plus minutes. Gyokeres, yes, Gyokeres. People have been on this guy for a very long time now. I think, yes, he announced himself to the Premier League world that, yes, he is the Gyokeres, the sporting Gyokeres that we all know, and then netting 2 goals with the first goal, very exceptional, very quality goal, taking the ball all by himself, running into the Leeds United 18-yard box, taking on the defender and then slotting it home. I think with this, it's going to give him a lot of confidence going into the rest of the game. Yes, so I think Arsenal really deserve this game. They really deserve to win this game, I think, with the way they played, the way their organization, and I think Leeds United didn't give them a whole lot of problems, to be honest. Fulham versus Manchester United, which ended in a 1-1 draw. The football world was so everyone was against Manchester United on that day. I think with new signings coming, expectations from Manchester United and their boss, Ruben Amorim. But then in this game, I think Manchester United were poor in this game, because people were watching because of how good or how well they performed against Arsenal. But then in this game, it was like the old Manchester United that we've been seeing for the past seasons. Even with new signings coming in, I think there's still a problem in this Manchester United setup. Yes, but in this game, we saw that Manchester United that played so well against Arsenal only in the 15th to 20th minute. That was when we saw that Manchester United, the hunger, they really pressed, they really worked hard in that first 20 minutes. They were on the ball, creating chances. They didn't allow Fulham to dictate the game. Manchester United were all up for the game from the 10th in the first 20 minutes. They were in the game. Everything showed that, yes, Manchester United were up for this game, and then were expecting to win that game. Created chances, missed all, and then after all those chances were missed, after the 20th minute, Manchester United were off. Creating chances became a problem. Dictating the game itself became a problem. Building up from the back so comfortably, as we saw against Arsenal, was now off. Fulham were now on Manchester United, weren't allowing them to play out from the back. This shows you that there's still work to be done at Manchester United. The likes of Mbuemo, Cunha, and Sesko were cut off supply. You know, in this kind of Manchester United system, right, you need ball carriers. You need players who can come in, get the ball, progress the ball for the likes of Mbuemo, Sesko, and Cunha. But then in this case, there wasn't. Bruno in this game was off, which I think he should have been subbed. The supply to these three top players is not there. As we know, Casemiro is just a deep line midfielder. Bruno, who could move forward, was also off in this game. As we all know too, Bruno likes to play close to goal. But then in this game, we lacked that kind of player to progress the ball to the three up front. That's where I think this comes in. Against Arsenal, Cunha was the one who was dropping very deep. He could drop deep, take the ball, run at defenders, and then move to the final third. But then in this game, it wasn't like that. So that shows you Manchester United needs a ball progressor. I think that was why they were so madly in love with Baleba, trying to do their possible best to get him into this Manchester United team. But then Brighton are also saying he's not for sale. So Manchester United need that midfielder, that ball carrier, who can progress the ball from the back and transition to the final third easily, with ease. That's where the problem comes in. And I think on the side of Fulham, they also defended very well. But then I made mention here that the likes of Bassi are always prone to mistakes. And that happened. Bassi caused a penalty when he pulled Mason Mount in the 18-yard box and then brought about the penalty. And this was where Manchester United had the advantage to take the lead. Because I made mention, Fulham will make mistakes at the back. So just make sure you take advantage. Make sure you take advantage of the chances and score. But then on this occasion, Bruno ballooed the ball to the fans. That's where this comes in again. Take your chances. But then Manchester United couldn't. So I think this gave Fulham that confidence to come at Manchester United. The likes of Bruno were exhausted. The goal that Fulham scored, I think, was all on Bruno Fernández. He couldn't track Smith Rowe. He was with him, and then he left him. This is where this also comes in. Ruben Amorim should also be blamed for this. We have the likes of Kobe Menu on the bench, who can also play very well on a very good day. So why keep him on the bench? There's another issue. Why bring on Dalot in this game? I think Dalot had no business in this game. Dalot had no business coming into this game. Mbuemo was off. He wasn't in the game. Why don't you take him off? Ahmad goes to one of the 10 positions. That's on the right. And then if you are going to bring Dalot, fine. But then you bring Dalot, keep Mbuemo on, and then see what Dalot cost Manchester United. So I think with this Manchester United team, there's a whole lot of work to be done. I think Ruben Amorim should look himself in the mirror, make his corrections, and then I think going forward in their next games or their subsequent games, Manchester United can give their fans the results that they desire. Now, to the Spanish La Liga. It started on Friday as Betis beat Alaves by 1-0. Mallorca drew at home to Celta Vigo 1-1. Atletico Madrid played against Elche at home and played 1-1. Barcelona went away to Levante and won by 3-2. Osasuna won against Valencia at home by 1-0. Villarreal beat Girona by 5-0. Espanyol played away to Real Sociedad and drew 2-2. Real Madrid, the big winners of the week, won by 3-0 against Real Oviedo. Barcelona winning away to Levante by 3-2. I think in this game, Barcelona. They went down by 2-0, and then came back and then won by 3-2. Very good result for Barcelona, especially in this early start of the season. You have to grind results. No matter how you win it, you just need the win. But then in this game showed us one or two things. I think this Barca highline, right? This Barca highline. I think Barca fans have started missing Inigo Martinez, right? Because in this kind of system, you need players, right, who are very, especially center backs, full back. I think your back line should be as quick as lightning. You need players who are fast, just in case they are caught off guard. But then in this game, I think Barcelona fell short. I think with the 2 goals Barcelona conceded was as a result of the same highline. Yes, Levante had players who were very quick up front, always hitting Barca on the counter, and then got them. The first goal aside, the penalty Barcelona conceded, which was very questionable, but then I think it also came as a result of Barcelona's highline. So coming up against a team or people who are very organized when it comes to beating the offside trap, I think you have to be very careful. Yes, Levante played very, very well. They defended very well and attacked very well. Kudos to them. I think, but then with the quality of Barcelona, I think we all expected this to happen. Yes, the likes of Lamine Yamal wasn't so much into this game. I think he wasn't so the Lamine Yamal we knew. But then still Barcelona found a way to grind the result. Yes, that's what winners are made of. Yes, even on a bad day, they find a way to grind results. Yes, but then aside everything, Barcelona played really well. They dictated the game. As we all know, they controlled the game from start to end. I think, with persistence, the goals are going to come. Yes, so I think Pedro got the very early goal for Barcelona in that game. And I think that's helped in orchestrating this comeback. And then there's a point that I would like to make mention of. Marcus Rashford. I think there's no way this guy can dispose any attacker in the Barcelona starting lineup right now. Hansi Flick tried to do something just to get or accommodate Marcus Rashford in this lineup. But then I think he wasn't so good. He didn't really do the kind of job that he expected him to do. Just because he wanted Marcus Rashford in this game, he pushed Raphinha to the number 10 position and then Marcus Rashford on the left. You can't fit squares in circles. Raphinha as a number 10 is a no-no for me. But then when they came into the second half, the changes were done. Everything came back to normal. And then I think that also helped in giving Barcelona the comeback that they wanted. Real Madrid, yes, very comfortable win against Real Oviedo. We all expected this. Yes, winning by 3-0 away. And the surprise of this game was when Rodrigo started ahead of Vinicius in this game. I think currently we don't know what Alonso wants to do with Rodrigo, but then there are speculations that there are clubs who wants to come for Rodrigo's signature, but then Rodrigo is still insisting that he wants to stay. But the question is, are you in Alonso's plan? That's the $1 million question. But then in this game, Alonso gave him the chance. He played. He did okay in this game. And I think Vini coming into this game in the second half proved that, yes, he is the Vini that we all know. And then he deserves to start ahead of Rodrigo any day. Scoring a goal and also assisting. Yes, that shows you the quality in this Real Madrid side. So I think, yes, this game was a very comfortable game for Real Madrid. Mastantuono also had his full debut in this game against Real Oviedo. Did excellent. I think Real Oviedo didn't cause Real Madrid a whole lot of problems. But then I think Madrid got it very comfortable as we expected. They won the game by 3-0. And I think this is what the Madrid fans want to see going forward in the season. This brings us to the end of this week's Premier League and La Liga review. If you enjoyed this, share my content, keep subscribing, and enjoy more soccer content like this.